Aban Yast. 54. Ardve Sura Anahita granted him that boon, as he was offering libations, giving gifts, sacrificing, and entreating that she would grant him that boon. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice, and so on. "15 compromises 56, 57, 58, 59. 56. The divisions in the text. Number 15. 56. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitima Zarathustra, under this spring of mine, Ardve Sura Anahita, and so on. 57. To her did the gallant sons of Va-e-Saka offer up a sacrifice in the castle of Kshatro Saaka that stands high up on the lofty holy Kanga, with 100 male horses, 1,000 oxen, 10,000 lambs. 56. They begged of her a boon, saying, Grant us this, O good and most beneficent Ardve Sura Anahita, that we may overcome the valiant warrior Tusa, and that we may smite with Aryan people, their 50s and their 100s, their 100s and their 1000s, their 1000s and their 10s of 1000s, their 10s of 1000s and their myriads of myriads. 59. Ardve Sura Anahita did not grant them that boon. 60. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice. Part 16 compromises 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, and 70. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitima Zarathustra, under the spring of mine, and Ardve Sura Anahita, and so on. 61. The old Vafra Navaza worshipped her, but the strong fiend smiter, Thra-e Ta'ana, flung him up in the air in the shape of a bird, of a vulture. 62. He went on flying for 3 days and 3 nights towards his own house, but he could not turn down. At the end of the 3rd night, when the beneficent dawn came dawning up, then he prayed unto Ardve Sura Anahita, saying, 63. Ardve Sura Anahita, do thou quickly hasten, helpfully, and bring me assistance at once. I will offer thee 1,000 libations, cleanly prepared and well strained, along with the ha'amas and meat, by the brink of the river Ranga, if I reach alive the earth made by Ahura and my own house. 64. Ardve Sura Anahita hastened unto him in the shape of a maid, fair of body, most strong, tall-formed, high-girded, pure, nobly born, of glorious race, wearing shoes up to the ankles, wearing a golden... I think maybe we're the comment's a little off. Is this the Urviksna, word of doubtful meaning, and a spurious clause? Oh, that doesn't. And so on. And radiant. 65. She seized him by the arm. Quickly it was done, nor was it long, till speeding he arrived at the earth made by Mazda, at his own house, safe, unhurt, unwounded, just as he was before. 66. Ardvasura Anahita granted him that boon, as he was offering up libations, giving gifts, sacrificing, entreating that she would grant him that boon. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice, and so on. 67. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitama Zarathustra, under this spring of mine, Ardvasura Anahita, and so on. 68. To her did Gamaspa offer up a sacrifice with 100 horses, 1,000 oxen, 10,000 lambs, when he saw the army of the wicked, of the worshippers of the Da'avas, coming from afar in battle array. 69. He asked of her a boon, saying, Grant me this, O good, most beneficent Ardvasura Anahita, that I may be as constantly victorious in any one of all the Aryans. 70. Ardvasura Anahita granted him that boon, as he was offering up libations, giving gifts, sacrificing, and entreating that she would grant him that boon. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice, and so on. And, okay, so it starts with the monotheism, and then the various things that are listed as good and all that. Well, not the things per se, but the angel worship kind of sneaks in. They didn't worship the fire, they worshipped an angel of the fire, they worshipped the archangels and all that, and particularly when you incorporated, oh, well, they had goddess worship here, so Anahita, and, you know. And remember that Da'avas is like shayateen are, using the Vestan word, well, which doesn't quite translate over because cast out of a place and only referring to like one entity. The Sha'etan is the Vestan term, but shaitan in the Arabic, again, just like Da'avas, refers to those who made that choice. So the things that people are worshiping other than God tend not to be of that. But some people, I mean, now it's making a resurgence, literally worship those beings that are acknowledged as evil by choice. 18 compromises 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. 71. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitama Zarathustra, under the spring of mine, Ardvasura Anahita, and so on. 72. To her did Asha Vazda, the son of Uru Vakste, and Asha Vazda, and Threta, the sons of Sa-Uzdre, offer up a sacrifice with 100 horses, 1,000 oxen, 10,000 lambs, by Apam Napat, the tall lord, the lord of the females, the bright and swift horsed. 73. They begged of her a boon, saying, Grant us this, O good, most beneficent Ardvasura Anahita, that we may overcome the assemblers of the Turanian Danus, Karana Asabana, and Vara Asabana, and the most mighty Dura Ekaeta in the battles of this world. 74. Ardvasura Anahita granted them that boon, as they were offering up libations, giving gifts, sacrificing, and entreating that she would grant them that boon. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice, and so on. 75. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitama Zarathustra, under this spring of mine, Ardvasura Anahita, so on. 76. Vista Uru, the son of Na Atara, worshipped her by the brink of the river Vitan Guhaete with well-spoken words, speaking thus. 77. This is true, this is truly spoken, that I have smitten as many of the worshippers of us as the hairs I bear on my head. Do thou then, O Ardve Sura Anahita, leave me a dry passage to pass over the good Vitan Gu Ha'ite. 78. Ardve Sura Anahita hastened unto him in the shape of a maid, fair of body, most strong, tall formed, high girded, pure, nobly born, of a glorious race, wearing shoes up to the ankle, with all sorts of ornaments, and radiant. A part of the waters she made stand still, a part of the waters she made flow forward, and she left him a dry passage to pass over. The good Vi Tangu Ha'ete. 79. Ardve Sura Anahita granted him that boon, as he was offering up libations, giving gifts, sacrificing, and entreating that she would grant him that boon. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice. 20. Compromises 80, 81, 82, 83. Offer up a sacrifice of Spitama Zarathustra out of the spring of wine, Ardve Sura Anahita. 81. To her did Yasts, one of the Vryanas, offer up sacrifice with 100 horses, 1,000 oxen, 10,000 lambs, on the Ped Va Epa of the Ranga. 82. He begged of her a boon, saying, Grant me this, O good, most beneficent Ardve Sura Anahita, that I may overcome the evil-doing Aktya, the offspring of darkness, that I may answer the 99 hard riddles that he asks me maliciously, the evil-doing Aktya, the offspring of darkness. There's somebody who's taken on that term as their magical name. Tried to have that guy interviewed, but his name has been brought up towards the head of the list, although I considered myself of that before I knew he existed, but it was never in his way. 83. Ardve Sura Anahita granted him that boon as he was offering up libations, giving gifts, sacrificing, and entreating that she would grant him that boon. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice. And section 21 compromises 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, and 96. 84. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitama Zarathustra, under the spring of mine, Ardve Sura Anahita, and so on. 85. Whom Ahura Mazda, the merciful, ordered thus, saying, Come, O Ardve Sura Anahita, come from those stars, down to the earth, made by Ahura, that the great lords may worship thee, the masters of the countries, and their sons. 86. The men of strength will beg of thee swift horses and supremacy of glory. The Atravans who read, and the pupils of the Atravans will beg of thee knowledge and prosperity, that victory made by Ahura, and the crushing ascendant. 87. The maids of barren women, longing for Lord, will beg of thee a strong husband. Women on the point of bringing forth will beg of thee a good delivery. All this wilt thou grant unto them, as it lies in thy power, O Ardve Sura Anahita. 88. Then Ardve Sura Anahita came forth, O Zarathustra, down from those stars to the earth, made by Mazda, and Ardve Sura Anahita spoke thus. 89. O pure, holy Zarathustra, Ahura Mazda has established thee as the master of the material world. Ahura Mazda has established me to keep the whole of the holy creation. Through my brightness and glory, flocks and herds and two-legged men go on upon the earth. I, forsooth, keep all good things made by Mazda, the offspring of the holy principle, just as a shepherd keeps his flock. 90. Zarathustra asked Ardvasura Anahita, O Ardvasura Anahita, with what manner of sacrifice shall I worship thee? With what manner of sacrifice shall I worship and forward thee, so that Mazda may make thee run down to the earth, that he may not make thee run up into the heavens above the sun, and that the serpent may not injure thee with poisons, with Rengau. '91. And Ardve Sura Anahita answered. Well, it's not listed what it is. The last one's thought to be a poison, but Ardve Sura Anahita answered, O pure holy Spitima, this is the sacrifice wherewith thou shalt worship me. This is the sacrifice wherewith thou shalt worship and forward me, from the time when the sun is rising to the time when the sun is setting. Of this libation of mine thou shalt drink, thou who art an Atravan, who hast asked and learnt the revealed law, who art wise, clever, and the Word incarnate. You know, we're all supposed to be incarnating the Word. You know, in the figurative sense, the child of, you know, it's, so some people have said, well, it presages Christianity. No, it kind of refutes it, but it operates on the same principle without, you know, making the hero out to be a god. 92. Of this libation of mine, let no foe drink, no man, fever sick, no liar, no coward, no jealous one, no woman, no faithful one, who does not sing the Gathas, no leper to be confined. 93. I do not accept those libations that are drunk in my honor by the blind and deaf, by the wicked, by the destroyers, by the stingy, by the, and so on, nor any of those stamped with the characters which have no strength for the holy word. Let no one drink of these my libations, who is humpbacked or bulged forward, no fiend with decayed teeth. 94. Then Zarathustra asks Ardvasura Anahita, O Ardvasura Anahita, what becomes of those libations which the wicked worshippers of us bring unto thee, that the sun has set? 95. Some point I'll have a better chair in here. Ardvasura Anahita answered, O pure, holy Spitima Zarathustra, howling, clapping, hopping, and shouting, 600 and 1,000 of us, who ought not to receive that sacrifice, receive those libations that men bring unto me after sunset. 96. I will worship the height Hukka area of the deep precipices, made of gold, wherefrom this mine Ardvasura Anahita leaps from 100 times the height of a man, while she is possessed of as much glory as the whole of the waters that run along the earth, and she runs powerfully. For her brightness and glory I will offer her a sacrifice. So on. And so since, you know, lightning requires water, she's like a thunder entity too, and perhaps, 22 compromises 97, 98, and 99. 97. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitima Zarathustra, unto this spring of mine, Ardve Sara Anahita, and so on. And I presume they mean Ardve Sura Anahita. 98. Before whom the worshippers of Mazda stand with Berisma in their hands. The Havovas did worship her. The Ataras did worship her. The Havovas asked for riches. The Ataras asked for swift horses. Quickly was Havova blessed with riches and full prosperity. Quickly became Vis Taspa, the Naatarete, the lord of the swiftest horses in these countries. 99. Ardve Sura Anahita granted them that boon, as they were offering up libations, giving gifts, sacrificing, and entreating that she would grant them that boon. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice, and so on. Section 23 compromises 100, 101, 102, 100. Offer up a sacrifice. O, Spitima Zarathustra, under this sprig of mine, Ardve Sura Anahita, and so on. 101. Who has 1,000 cells at 1,000 channels. The extent of each of those cells, of each of those channels, is as much as a man can ride in 40 days, riding on a good horse. In each channel there stands a palace, well-founded, shining, with 100 windows, with 1,000 columns, well-built, with 10,000 balconies, and mighty. 102. In each of those palaces there lies a well-laid, well-scented bed, covered with pillows, and Ardve Sura Anahita, O Zarathustra, runs down there from 1,000 times the height of a man, and she is possessed of as much glory as the whole of the waters that run along the earth, and she runs powerfully. Now, it's important when we're talking about an entity of such, in general, whether it's just an angel with a charge or whatever, we're talking about beyond this earth terms. Oh, well, this is on this earth. Well, it's over more than what this earth has. At least that opens certain possibilities. Section 24 compromises 103, 104, 105, and 106. 103. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitima Zarathustra, under the spring of mine, Ardve Sura Anahita, and so on. 104. Unto her did the holy Zarathustra offer up a sacrifice in the Iryana Va'ega, the land. By the good river, Da'itya, with the Ha'ama and meat, with the Berisma, with the wisdom of the tongue, with holy spells, with the speech, with the deeds, with the libations, and with the brightly spoken words. 105. He begged of her a boon, saying, Grant me this, O good and most beneficent Ardve Sura Anahita, that I may bring the son of Urvat Aspa, the valiant Kava Vistaspa, to think according to the law. I speak according to the law, to do according to the law. 106. Ardve Sura Anahita granted him that boon, as he was offering up libations, giving gifts, sacrificing, and entreating that she would grant him that boon. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice. Now, outside of India proper is the Aryavatra, the noble land, where I think it's part of Afghanistan. That was where anatomically modern human being with its ability to make over 200 sounds emerged. But in its speech, I guess we can make more sounds outside of that. Certainly moving back and forth in this chair and my feet against different types of plastic rubber containers or whatever these things are. This one's definitely plastic. Well, technically they're plastics, right? Part 25, 107, 108, 109, and 110. 107. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitma Zarathustra, under the spring of mine, Ardve Sura Anahita, and so on. 108. Under her did the tall Kava Vistaspa offer up a sacrifice behind Lake Fraz Danava, with 100 male horses, 1,000 oxen, 10,000 lambs. 109. He begged of her a boon, saying, Grant me this, O good, most beneficent, Ardve Sura Anahita, that I may overcome Thothravant of the bad law, and Pashana, the worshipper of the Da'avas, and the wicked Avragat Aspa, in the battles of this world. 110. Ardve Sura Anahita granted him that boon, as he's offering up libations, giving gifts, sacrificing, and entreating that she would grant him that boon. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice, and so on. Part 26 compromises 111, 112, 113, and 114. Offer up a sacrifice with Spitma Zarathustra, under the spring of mine, Ardve Sura Anahita, and so on. 112. Under her did Za'ere Va'ere, who fought on horseback, offer up a sacrifice behind the river Da'itya, with 100 male horses, 1,000 oxen, 10,000 lambs. 113. He begged of her a boon, saying, Grant me this, O good, most beneficent, Ardve Sura Anahita, that I may overcome Pasho Kanga, the corpse barrier, Huma Yaka, the worshipper of the Da'avas, and the wicked Aragat Aspa, and the battles of this world. 114. Ardve Sura Anahita granted him that boon. He's offering up libations, giving gifts, sacrificing, and entreating that she would grant him that boon. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice, and so on. 27 compromises 115, 116, 117, and 118. 116. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitma Zarathustra, out of the spring mine, Ardve Sura Anahita, and so on. 116. Under her did Arigat, Aspa, and Vandar Inne offer up a sacrifice by the sea Va'uru Kasha, with 100 male horses, 1,000 oxen, 10,000 lambs. 117. They begged of her a boon, saying, Grant us this, O good, most beneficent, Ardve Sura Anahita, that we may conquer the valiant Kava Vistaspa and Za Ere Va'ere, who fights on horseback, and that we may smite of the Aryan people their 50s, and their 100s, and their 100s, and their 1000s, their 1000s, and their 10s of thousands, their 10s of thousands, and their myriads of myriads. 118. Ardve Sura Anahita did not grant them that favor, though they were offering up libations, giving gifts, sacrificing, and entreating that she should grant them that favor. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice, and so on. And one of the things here, I am not advocating mere wars of conquest or conversion or any of that sort of thing, so don't take that, or killing people because just, because they're of a different faith or whatever. But sometimes you do have to, there's issues with one's own race. It's not that, oh, well, we can't fight, so that when they say among the Aryan people, well, they are the Aryan people proper is what they call themselves. But, they realize that's where they had to start, whatever. Part 28 compromises 119, 120, and 121. 119. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitama Zarathustra, under the spring of mine, Ardve Sura Anahita, and so on. 120. For whom Ahura Mazda has made 4 horses, the wind, the rain, the cloud, and the sleet, And thus ever upon the earth it is raining, snowing, hailing, and sleeting, and whose armies are so many, and numbered by 900s and thousands. 121. I will worship the height, Huka area, of the deep precipices, made of gold, wherefrom this mine, Ardve Sura Anahita, leaps from 100 times the height of a man, while she is possessed of as much glory as the whole of the waters that run along the earth, and she runs powerfully. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice, and so on. So we see here that definitely in terms of the horses, and you could say the bulls and all that stuff too, we're talking, it goes beyond what we're thinking of as a horse. So a lot of the things that may not be accurate, you could say, well, perhaps it means something different than what we're... Section 29 compromises 122, 123, 124. 122. Offer up a sacrifice, O Spitamo Zarathustra, out of the spring of mine, Ardve Sura Anahita, and so on. 123. She stands, the good Ardve Sura Anahita, wearing a golden mantle, waiting for a man who shall offer her libations and prayers, and thinking thus in her heart, who will praise me, who will offer me a sacrifice with libations cleanly prepared and well strained together, with ha'ama and meat? To whom shall I cleave? Who cleaves unto me, and thinks with me, and bestows gifts upon me, and is of a good will unto me. For her brightness and glory, I will offer her a sacrifice. It looks like section 30, which compromises 125 to 133, will have to be included in another program. So let's share some notes here. Abdu, or Addu, translated gone. She makes life longer. Perhaps Abdu would be better translated springs and rivers, reading guy instead of gone. Making the seed pure and sound without blood and filth, so that it may conceive again. Hugar the lofty is that from which the water of Aredvi Sur leaps down the height of 1,000 men. The Huka area is mentioned again, and it appears situated in the west. And there's a belief in the earth surrounding ocean. In verse 7, we have the Za, Asa, Arsusa, and Anax